There are now moves, at least by the New South Wales Premier, Chris Minns, to ban that phrase, globalise the intifada. The government's going to look at its hate speech laws as well, but not sure whether they're going to be able to ban that slogan. Obviously, you support that. Is there anything else that you think should be banned?
Look, we need to get to the communities that are preaching this hate. We know it's online. It's available for everyone to see that, you know, Muslim community centres in Bankstown are preaching this hate. They're radicalising young Australians. And I think that's one of the most alarming things. This alleged shooter was born here. He grew up in Australia under the value system that we have, and he was radicalised in our country. So really, the first thing we need to do is find these imams who are preaching hate. We need to either put them in jail, or we need to kick them out of our country if they don't belong here.
Well, it's interesting you bring that up, because I told viewers earlier tonight that the Al Medina Dawa Centre has been closed today, finally, by the Canterbury Bankstown Council.
It's not enough, though. Closing down a building...
And why now?
Yeah.
And why now?
Yeah.
Only now?
Closing down a building is not enough. It's actually getting to the source of the problem, which are the people who are preaching this hate. Look, I had a next-door neighbour of mine who...
Because you grew up in southwest Sydney. A lot of people might not realise you're from that area.
I'm from that area. I know it very, very well. Blood has been spilt, so now the government either has to take accountability or they have to step down and let someone do the job who's going to protect everyday Australians.
There have been growing calls for a federal royal commission. So far, you know, it's members of the coalition, but also now 2 Labor MPs who are calling for it, Ed Husick and Mike Freelander, and more than 100 former judges and senior barristers joining that call today. Do you want to see that happen?
Absolutely, but I can tell you exactly what the fine is going to be. Incompetence, incompetence, incompetence. Look, Albanese failed this country. He has failed the Jewish community, he's failed Australians, and Sunday is going to be a black mark on his legacy. I would be grateful if he actually did the first brave thing in his political career, which is to step down and remove himself from politics forever. Because what I'm seeing online is every Australian is absolutely fed up with the direction that this country is going, and he is fully responsible. He's the leader. So Albanese, if you're watching this, resign. Leave today and let someone who's actually going to take care of Australians lead this country and bring back the values that made this country the safest in the world. I mean, I've never seen so much gun violence in my life happening in Australia.
And you've been living in the United States for so long. I mean, it must be a shock to come home and this happening.
I'm shocked. There's random shootings in Croydon Park. There's gang shootings. There's Middle Eastern crime that's unfolding all over Western Sydney. And instead of actually getting on top of it, the Australian government is only tightening hate speech laws. And he's only targeting people that are opposing his political position. I don't think this government really cares about the issue, which is radical Islam that is unfolding in our country. Now, this is a global phenomenon. We're seeing this in the UK. We're seeing this in France. We're seeing this in Toronto. We're seeing this in America. This is not just an isolated event to Australia. This is a global problem that I think every Western nation is now starting to realise. We're either too far beyond it, or we've created such a political system that we have no rights to protect ourselves anymore.
Well, certainly a new skynews.com.au poll has found just that. Many people, many voters agree with you here that they're not confronting radical Islam. I want to ask about some of the stuff you've been doing behind the scenes that people don't really know about. Over the past 2 and a bit years, you've been meeting with families and victims of the October 7 terror attacks in Israel. But you've also been meeting over the past few days with a lot of victims and families of this attack in Bondi. You haven't been sharing photos or taking videos of this. You've just been doing it privately. But can you speak to us about what it's been like to meet with those families and victims?
Well, today we had a miracle. 4 days ago, I went to visit one of the survivors of the one of the survivors of the Bondi massacre. He was in a coma, and I prayed on the side of his hospital bed that we would see a miracle. Today he came out of that coma, and I got to meet him, shake his hand. He's in good spirits despite everything he's been through. The Israeli, Geffen, who was also shot twice when he was assisting Ahmed El Ahmed in that moment of time, which was unbelievable bravery, he's fighting for his life right now. And so I would make a public call to all people of faith in Australia and around the world that we need to pray for this young man. We need to see another miracle. And most importantly, I think we really need Australia to come back to godlessness. Godliness. We really need Australia to come back to godliness. This nation is losing what it was created for, and the values and the cultures that we once celebrated, they're disappearing. And I think that's been one of the saddest realities that I've witnessed over the past 2 years. This pro-Palestinian movement is eroding the Australian value system that made this country great. And they ultimately don't care about Australians. And
yeah, I think you make such a good point. It's almost like a religious cult in itself. And I should point out, you're a Christian, you're not a Jew, but you've been an amazing ally to the Jewish community. So from someone in that community, thank you for everything you've done. Nate Buzz, we're out of time, but thank you very, very much for coming on.
Thank you.